Hello and a really big warm welcome to this presentation from the Urban Penguin. My name is Andrew Mallett and we are continuing the series on the command line utility in Linux, grep. We want you to be able to master it and we're taking it step by step, just looking a little bit in each of these relatively short videos. In today's video, our third episode, we're going to be taking a look at how we can use grep to filter output from other commands. So by piping from one command to another, or by creating new files using a redirection. Now come on, let's really start learning and find our command line. And hello, and a big warm welcome through to this command line. A command line where we're going to really get to grips with the command grep. So come on, let's start working at the command line. And grep, like so many other commands in Linux, is probably not going to be used in isolation. It can be used with other commands. We're going to take a look at piping output from commands through to grep to effectively get the information that we are looking for. And the first thing that we might take a look at is man pages. If I look at man ls, we're able then to see the help information for the ls command. Now, although I can search inside of the man page, it's going to show me one line at a time. Whereas, of course, searching with grep, I'm going to be able to display multiple lines. So let's go through and just take a look at how we might affect this. If I go through and look at man ls and then grep for size. So let's say if I wanted to search or order the information based on the file size, well, I can see then that it's uppercase S would be the option that I would be looking to use. But also I can sort by other elements as well, not just by size. So although searching for size inside of the man page would be quite effective for me, it wouldn't be so good if I wanted to look for everything that I could sort by. So if we want to rerun our search, and this time searching for the string sort space by, the display we're going to see now are all of the options that I can use to sort on different attributes. There are various date and timestamps that I can sort by, or as we saw before, the file size with the uppercase S. Now, because this is so useful, there are some commands that have a grep search built in. Let me show you the journalctl command that can be used to display the journal log. So if I use sudo journalctl, I can put options in so I can look just for SSH information. So if I look for the systemd unit file, sshd, and additionally the option -g allows me to search for patterns in the output. And if I want to look for a certain pattern, then I just put the same sort of pattern in, be it text or regular expressions that I put in to grep itself. Here we can look for session opened, and we can see then the recently opened session that my Tux user has initiated. So it is so good that there are commands now that are building grep or pattern matching into the executable themselves. So that gives you the idea of how much power that we can initiate using grep. But there are other things that we can use grep for too as well. Let's go through and take a look at adding in some simple regular expressions. If I go through and run my grep, and here, rather than looking just for text, I'm using the caret or the hat symbol, which means lines beginning with. And if I want to look at commented lines, I can look at lines that begin with a comment. If I then go through and take a look at this, let's say from the standard SSH client configuration file, we're able to see then all of our commented lines. Now, this is probably not what we want to see. So there's a great option that we have to inverse our expression, -v. So now we're saying, don't show me commented lines. And we can see that there is only one real effective line, the include line. However, we've also got a lot of empty lines. we can combine our expressions together, so minus VE for an expression, and add in another expression. And this time we're going to say, don't show me lines that begin with the dollar symbol. The dollar symbol is a hidden character. We don't normally see it, but it's the end of line marker. So we're able to see now that we're removing both the commented and the empty lines. And we've quickly got down to the effective lines in the file. Now, grep doesn't allow you to edit a file, but we can redirect the output. And I'm redirecting it through now to my home directory and the SSH config. And if I now cat out that file, we're able to see that we've got the new file clean without comments or empty lines. And if necessary, I could use sudo and copy to copy this back over the original file if I wanted the clean file. Using an enhanced regular expression, uppercase E, we can combine those two expressions together. So I still want to invert the expressions, and I want to look now for lines beginning with, and the parentheses allow me to add in a group. And I can say a comment, or with the vertical bar, the dollar being the end of line marker. So don't show me commented or empty lines. Close off my quotes, and then just get back through to the main configuration file. And we can see now as we look at it, again, I'm only getting the one line. I'm not seeing the commented lines, and I'm not seeing the empty lines. Now, as we start looking at some of our code, we might think, well, this is a great idea, but I'm probably not going to remember it, but I'd like to be able to use this quite frequently. Well, that's where our aliases come in. And if I create a new bash alias, we can call it anything that we want, but I'm going to call it clean file here. We can open up our double quotes, and then we can go through and paste in our grep command. Don't paste in the file name. We want to be able to use it against any file. Now that's now created the alias. I can run the command or alias clean file against my config file. And again, we're only seeing the one line. We can run it against any file now, so etc hosts. And again, we can see we're not seeing any commented lines or empty lines. Now we can see the alias is really good, but it does not persist. I can check that it's stored in my shell using the alias command, but it's stored in this shell. But if I log out and log in again, well, I'm not going to get the alias again. And that's where your login script becomes useful. We can add the alias to the login script. So if I then go through and echo the alias definition, I can put that inside of my double quotes, so I can redirect it through to my login script. I can grab hold of my alias, and I can close my double quotes. It looks a little bit weird with all of the extra quotes that we've got in, but then append it to make sure we use two greater than symbols to append, writing through to my home directory and the .bashrc file. I can delete the alias using the unalias command. So if I run unalias and my alias name of clean file, if I then type alias again, we can see I no longer have the clean file alias. Now I can log out and log in again, but a simple way to prove that it's effective is to go through and source, read in my home directory and .bashrc file, so tilde/.bashrc file. Now that we've read in the login script, typing alias again can show that we're back to the clean file alias being present in my shell. And then I can go through and start using it against, let's say, the etc host file. We can use it against other files as well if we want. So we can go through and take a look at systemd and our journald.conf. And we'll be displaying just the lines that are effective, removing or filtering out commented and empty lines. So hopefully you found this useful. You're not only learning about how we can use grep, but it's how we can effectively use it in a working Linux environment.
All that is left to say is thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then you are probably sadder than I first thought. For more of this drivel, please subscribe, like and comment to @TheUrbanPenguin.